guys, we're back at Albuoystown, Independence Boulevard. I just wanted to show you what became of this Independence Boulevard. Last time I showed you this section of Independence Boulevard, it was not yet completed, but since then construction has been completed and the road has been officially opened. So I'll show you what they did to complete Independence Boulevard here in Georgetown, Guyana. So this road goes all the way through to the East Bank Road, and what they've done since the last time I was here is they built this sidewalk. Right, I was wondering about that last time I was here. They were building a sidewalk and I was wondering if they were going to extend it all the way out. But what they did is they've built a park. This is kind of a park in between the two sides, the two halves of this road, Independence Boulevard. Now it seems as if there are two separate roads on the south side. Right, this is heading over to the south side. So there's a sidewalk that they've built in the park, but on the south side there's this road that goes all the way out. It's about 1.5 miles, I guess. We're looking east. If you're going east, it goes like 1.5 miles to the end, which is at East Bank Road. It goes to the Penitence Market at the eastern end. Now on the north side, as you can see, we're still inside this park, right? On the north side, this is another two-lane road. This also goes all the way out. It's parallel, but then it gets closer. Right at the end of the park, it gets closer to the south side road. So this is the east end of Independence Boulevard. They've built this park. It's a kiddie park, a recreational park between the two halves of the road, and they've put a sidewalk. In fact, a number of sidewalks into the park since the last time I was here. They're still constructing it. As you can see, there are piles of sand, but they're still constructing it. They've put some, seesaws, some swings, some jungle gyms, and ladders for kids. Right, this is what they've put inside this little area, this park area. These are some swings for kids, I suppose. Let's see what it's made of. It's actually plastic, and does work. And I suppose there is a sign here that says enhancement works along Independence Boulevard, Pont Trench Dam, Lot 3, Garnet Street to Cemetery Road. Executing agencies, Ministry of Public Works, and contractors C&L Construction Inc. And the amount of money they're spending is it's about 300 million Guyana dollars, which approximately is, say, about 1.5 million US dollars. So this park area is being built at the cost of 1.5 million. I'm going to make a separate video about the costs, the inflating costs of construction here in Guyana, because I made note recently of a contract that was given to contractors, I think run by one, what's his name? Mikhail Rodriguez. He is also known as the Guyanese critic. So apparently he has a contract with the government that's going to pay him $865 million to build a pump station. Right, that's what they use to pump the water off the land, to drain the land when it rains. Now, under the previous administration, these pump stations were built for $335 million. But under the current administration, it cost $865 million, $875 million, about 2.5 times what it would cost previously. And that is the nature of corruption in Guyana, because it goes through the appearance of official procurement, right? Because there is a department that handles procurement of contracts. So because it goes through the process of procurement, it is given the appearance of legality. But in fact, what is happening is major corruption. And so Guyana is earning a significant amount of money from oil and gas, but it's now spending exorbitant amounts for construction that previously cost far less than it cost. So corruption in Guyana is taking the form of inflating the contracts. Now, how does it work? Usually the way that kind of corruption works is that the person who is approving the contract gets a kickback. Now, I'm not saying that this is happening here, but I'm saying that we should be looking at it more closely as citizens. Whether you live abroad or you live in Guyana, you want to know what's happening with the billions of dollars the government is spending, $250 million per quarter now. $250 million US per quarter for this infrastructure development. First of all, the quality is not that great. There are people who are complaining because I criticize the quality of construction. The problem is that if you build stuff that doesn't last, it's a waste of money. And secondly, a lot of the money is getting stolen by kickbacks and by inflated costs. It's like in the US, a lot of the army and military contractors would get away with inflating the cost of supplying services to the military. And then when you look closely at the contracts, you see at the invoices, you will see, for example, the hammer that costs $300, an ordinary hammer. They're billing the army $300 US for a hammer, which you could probably buy at Walmart for $12.99. So that is the way the money is stolen. And the danger is that after years of earning significant amounts of money from oil, that eventually a lot of it gets stolen because of things like these procurements, where the contract for a pump station, which usually costs $335 million, is being paid at a rate of $865 million by the government of Guyana. Right, the same pump station that 3 years ago, under the previous government, cost $335 million, is now costing $865 million. And that is how corruption works. That is how the money is stolen, and it's being stolen officially because this is approved by the government. This contract is approved by the government. So we know who the players are, and we ought to really be criticizing this. Here we're going through Albuoystown. We've seen this part of the city before, but as you can see, with this new road, this new Independence Boulevard, it actually looks like a part of Georgetown now, when previously it didn't look like it was in the heart of the city. But this is what's happening, guys, with the construction project. So while I show you all of the new developments and the new construction work that's being done, there's another side of it that I haven't really addressed, and that is the cost of all this construction. Like I said, the park at the other end, which you've just seen, right? That park costs about $300 million, $297 million to build. And I don't know if you can tell, there's no quality. It's not a good, the stuff that we were playing with, the swing that I sat in is a plastic chair that was fitted with rings so that it could be hung on a metal bar to create that swing. It's not really a dedicated swing. Somebody just put some makeshift pieces of furniture together, outdoor furniture, with some chain and created a swing. Now, there's nothing wrong with that kind of innovation, right? This is Garnett Street. This is, of course, the extent. Garnett Street is where the park begins, according to the sign. So the point is that somebody put together some pieces of outdoor furniture with some chains and made a swing, and they're charging the government 300 million Ghana dollars, or 1.5 million US dollars for that park, to construct that park. And it should not be political to simply ask, why is this happening? Why is it that this kind of construction is costing? So for example, there's no cars driving on this road, right? This is just ordinary concrete construction, but it's falling apart. Imagine the stones are cracking. There's no winter here where, for example, water freezes in cracks, expands, and causes breaks in the road. This is just ordinary use, right? Rain. So when you ask about what is happening with the price of construction, the cost of construction, as far as the money being spent by the government, you really ought to ask. For example, this is not reinforced concrete. This is just cement that is cast to produce a table and seats. And so these things have been breaking or falling apart just by, sitting on them. So the quality is not there. Ordinarily, these casted tables and benches on the side would be made from some reinforced concrete, because that's what public infrastructure is about, right? It's supposed to be out here in the weather to take a whole lot of beating and should be made to last. But essentially what we have is shabby construction. Here, for example, is the road, the sidewalk falling apart. Right, these are supposed to be cast out of concrete. These are concrete pieces of furniture. But they're charging millions of US dollars for this construction. And it should not be political for you to question the quality of the work and the value, whether in fact it's worth what they're paying for it. That park certainly is not worth $300 million, that is 1.5 million US dollars, the way it's being constructed right now in terms of quality. And similarly, the roads, which eventually will fall apart if they're not being built properly, if the quality isn't there, right? Now this is Albuoystown, and it's an improvement on what was here before. But the question is, how long will it last? Why should it fall apart? If you're spending all of this money, why should it fall apart? And this is a country that does not do maintenance. Why should it fall apart in 2 to 3, years after it's constructed? So these are the questions that are being asked. And it should not be political. In other words, to ask these questions about quality, right? This is, again, another part of the sidewalk that is already falling apart. It's not even been what, a year, 2 years since this sidewalk and Independence Boulevard were constructed. But this is it, guys. What questions would you have for the officials here, if you knew the amount of money that's being spent on these projects, right? Now this $865 million is about $4 million US dollars, $4 million US dollars for a pump station. I'll give you a picture. I'll put a picture of it so you can see what it is. It's just like an outhouse. So we call in Guyana a latrine with a pump station with an electric pump inside. Right? It doesn't look like it should cost that much anyway, and it didn't cost that much. It costs less than a third of that amount 4 years ago. So is that really inflation or is it corruption? And those are the questions that are being asked now, because these projects are the cost of these projects are being revealed. But that's it, guys. That's what's happening here in this neck of the woods. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. In the future, I'm going to give you more detailed description of as up close, detailed observation of what is being created here in the era of oil and gas, the infrastructure that they're building. For example, the quality, the size, the styles, the chosen architecture. Those things are going to be criticized and scrutinized on this channel, and we're going to show you some of what is being done outside of Georgetown. They've built a new mall. Well, this is not the government now, private mall at Leonora on the west coast of Demerara. That's across the river, across the Demerara River. We're going to take a look at that and some of the other constructions. We're going to look at some of the progress on some of the hotels that are being built. The Best Western Hotel, the Marriott, Courtyard Marriott at Temeri, and so on. But that's what's up, guys. That's what's happening in the month of November. Stay tuned, share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening here in Georgetown, Guyana, here in Albuoystown on Independence Boulevard. Later! Yeah, that's looking back where we came from. We've come about a mile, I suppose, since we started on Independence Boulevard.